Hey guys, my name's Gloria and welcome back to my channel. So continuing in my vein of comparing a couple of books from my Portable Magic Books backlog that I did. I'll link my reading vlog up above for that. Today I have two more books to compare, and those are The Hollow Ones by Guillermo del Toro and Chuck Hogan, and The Fading by Christopher Ransom. So we've got red and blue, quite different. The Hollow Ones, first of all, it is the first in the Blackwood tapes. It's Blackwood Tapes Volume 1. It follows the story of an FBI agent, a young woman called Odessa, that's what her name is, and she is called into this an incident that is happening with her partner. The local businessman has sort of gone awry and he may be harming his family, so they have to get to his house. They're quite close by anyway. They get there and her partner starts to wrestle with the guy because he has a gun, I think, or either a gun or a knife, but he has a knife. And he starts to wrestle with the partner, but as she's watching, something strange happens and the sort of angry, murderous look in this man's eye transfers over to her partner, and her partner ends up killing this man. And in the beginning she thinks, in the moment she thinks, oh, this is just unfortunate, it was just part of their tussle. She goes to see if the guy's still alive, and her partner goes to another room and she discovers that the man's daughter, his young daughter, is in that other room. She thinks her partner is going to check if the girl's okay, but when she gets there, he's holding a knife to her neck and he's going to kill her. So she ends up shooting her partner dead. And this is obviously not a great thing to do. It's not okay to kill your partner, to just shoot them dead. People know that it wasn't, you know, a stray bullet or anything. She's trying to explain to them that he'd lost his mind, that he was trying to hurt this little girl. The little girl does substantiate that, but she still thinks she's going to lose her job. While an investigation is going on into this, she is sent to do a sort of menial job, and she's sent to clear out the desk in the office of a retired agent. And while there, she discovers some odd things, and she goes to visit him in the hospital because he's actually recently had a heart attack. And she discovers these Blackwood tapes and discovers some strange things, and there are other things going on in the city, other people that seem to just be losing their minds and killing people. And the guy in the hospital says, if you want to discover what's going on, if you want to stop it, you need to bring an envelope with your request for help to a single post box on this one street. You need to put it in there and you need to wait. And she thinks he's crazy, but she does it anyway, and eventually a man called Blackwood shows up. He has a very British accent. He seems very odd, seems very timeless, and he turns out to be this sort of almost immortal being who has been trying for centuries to get these other dimensional beings, these other sort of demon things, they're called the Hollow Ones, and to trap them because he thinks that he was the one who set them on the world unwittingly, and he's been trying to right that wrong ever since. And that was how he and the agent who were in the hospital, they met back in the 60s, when this agent, who's one of the first black FBI agents, had to investigate the lynching of a white man, and people believed that it was this young 12-year-old boy who seemed to be possessed by something, 12-year-old black boy. And so there's all sorts of racial tensions going on there, and that was how they met. And now it's the baton has sort of passed on to Odessa, and she is given all of these tapes from this agent, and she sort of makes friends with this Blackwood guy, and they are trying to stop the hollow ones which are ravaging the city. Next is The Fading by Christopher Ransom. So The Fading is the life story of this man who, in the womb, some sort of creature, some sort of something imbued his fetal body with the ability to just disappear, to blink out of existence. And from a very early age he started to do this. It took a great toll on his mother because no one really believed her. There was one point, one of the earliest times when she was breastfeeding, and she looked down and she could still feel him there, but there was nothing in her arms. Another time he accidentally caused a car accident because he, as a little boy, he disappeared and he ran out into the road and reappeared again. So his poor mother's sort of tormented, trying to, because she's always afraid that he's going to just disappear and not come back. It's not one of the cool superpowers that you might think it is. He doesn't have any ability to time when this happens, so it always seems to happen in the worst possible times. He just blinks out of existence. It begins to last for a few hours, and then days, and then eventually weeks at a time. And he just has to try and live like that. When he's invisible, he has to try and do things. He learns from a very young age that he can see people that other people can't see. He's not sure why, he's not sure who they are, but he also learns that he needs to start collecting money and collecting resources so that he can survive when he's invisible, because you know, you can't have a job when you're invisible. You can't hold down a job when, you know, you might actually show up but they're saying you're not showing up. So it's a very difficult life for him. It sort of tears his family apart. There is a romance with his mother and father eventually break up, and his father marries another woman, and he is sort of the troublesome son. He's the one who, he shows up to his dad's house just to steal stuff and wreck the place because he's angry at his dad when he's a teenager, but he discovers that this woman has a teenage daughter who is his age as well, and he starts to fall in love with her. But at a crucial point he disappears, freaks her out, ends up injuring her mother terminally. She ends up paralyzed and just messes up his life for him. But later on his father contacts him and asks him to go looking for her because they're now in their 20s, she's in college, and they can't find her. And so he goes and tries to look for her. But it sort of encompasses his whole life. I think it feels a lot like a Stephen King sort of thing, where he just had an idea for a character and he just followed them throughout their life. There isn't a real plot to it, and the ending could be a cliffhanger, it could be leading to another book, I'm not sure, but there you go. So these two books, The Hollow Ones, I thought was a great first installment of a series. I would be happy to read the next book as well. It sort of marries like police procedural FBI agents with this sort of immortal paranormal supernatural man and these demons and rituals and sort of more occult things. And I really like the character. I'm not 100% sure on the connections between some of the characters yet. It might become more clear in the next book. But for this one I think it's a really strong beginning. I'm very intrigued, very interested. Am I bleeding? There's blood on my hand and I don't know where it came from. I hope it's not my face. I don't have a mirror. Oh. Nope, My lipstick's a mess, but I don't know where the blood came from. Cool. So, yeah, I thought this was a really strong start. I liked it. There's a lot of, as it sort of tells some stories from past events from the 60s and stuff. There's some insight into racial tensions and whatnot back then, and possibly some sexist things to do with Odessa and her role as an FBI agent. Really enjoyed this. The fading is well written. I like Christopher Ransom's writing. It was interesting to see a negative side because of being invisible, because we always think of it as this cool superpower that you can use to do cool things, but when you're not in control of it and when you have to fend for yourself from such a young age, and when it's the thing that sort of drives your mother crazy and nobody believes it's real, and it drives a wedge between you and everyone. You can't have friends, girlfriends, you can't have anything because you can just wink out of existence at any point in time. That was really interesting. The back cover though, it kind of made me believe that he was gonna confront whatever made him start going invisible in the first place, and that's not true. He kind of runs into a run-of-the-mill sort of serial killer who has the same ability as him, so he can also go invisible, but he's learned how to control it, and he uses that to murder people. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm into a lot of true crime stuff that wasn't all that scary for me. That wasn't this otherworldly evil. Like that's very worldly to me. They're everywhere. And the ending as well is very odd. He's getting asked by the government. They know they've sort of been keeping tabs on him and they know what he can do, and he's asked by the government to go behind enemy lines to search for one of their people, but it kind of felt like a cliffhanger for a second book or something. But at the same time, it didn't, because the whole book is just bits of his life and there's no real plot to it. So I'm not sure. I liked the new insight and I liked Christopher Ransom's writing, but I would have preferred a more solid beginning, middle and end, a more solid plot to the book. That's just my thinking. So I will be giving the fading away. I'll be keeping the hollow ones. Happy to read more of Christopher Ransom now. Thanks. So that is my video for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what I'm doing here, you can like and subscribe down below. I would really appreciate it. I hope everyone's having a good Christmas, a good end of year, and I shall see you in the next video.